Hello, and thank you for watching this weekly Ag Weather Update, brought to you by AgCarolina Farm Credit. My name is Eric Snodgrass, and I'm a Senior Atmospheric Scientist and co-founder of AgWeather Incorporated, and I serve as the Director for Undergraduate Studies in Atmospheric Science at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. Well, I thought we'd start off by taking a look here at what the first 19 days of May have looked like. So we're looking here at the temperature anomalies, and this has been a far cry from what we saw in April. In fact, if you look over here in South Carolina, we've finally starting to get ahead of normal in terms of temperatures here, which means we've accumulated quite a bit of growing degree day units over the last 20 days or so. Given how cold it was in April, we certainly needed this recovery. So with this as our backdrop, let's take a look at recent precipitation. The map that's on the left shows you the last 30 days of precipitation expressed as a percent of normal. When you look at this map, you can clearly see that much of the eastern part of the country here, really getting over into North and South Carolina, have been very wet compared to average over the last 30 days. No, it's not just been constant precipitation. Yes, it has been a lot of hit and miss thunderstorms, but we have had a pretty large tropical pulse of moisture that's come through over the last few days, and we've got to discuss that in this video because we do still have here in the southeast some drought. This was the latest drought monitor that came out last Thursday. We can see that through parts of South Carolina, getting back into Georgia and Alabama and parts of Florida, we did have some residual drought. Now, this is nothing like the drought we're experiencing in the central states, and this is going to be a key factor for what the central states are going to look like throughout this year, and even parts of the Corn Belt too. But when we get over to the southeast, I think that over the next couple of weeks, we'll actually see most of the drought that you see in this area down here disappearing. So let's kind of get into it and talk about why. This past weekend's precipitation, well, what we're looking at here is the last 72 hours of precipitation leading into very late on Sunday night. And the big feature that we saw here was that there was a rather large area of higher atmospheric pressure sitting off of the southeast coast. There was then this large pulse of tropical moisture that came out of the Caribbean through parts of the Gulf of Mexico, kind of pulled in some moisture and really dumped a lot of rain on Florida and brought a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity here to North and South Carolina. Points to the east of there, we actually had a whole lot of hit or miss showers and storms. So some folks got the rain and others did not. And for those of you that grow corn here in the Carolinas, I want to let you know something. We are still kind of delayed here in corn planting in parts of the Dakotas and also parts of northern Iowa, southern Minnesota, but they had a pretty decent planting window here over the last few days. Where they were ahead, very soaking rains here in parts of Nebraska. So just want to show you some kind of bigger picture things about what the weather's done in the broader context of corn compared to what's going on in North and South Carolina. In terms of severe weather, as all these showers and storms have popped up over the last 4 days, we have seen quite a bit of severe weather in the Great Plains, but it has at times extended all the way toward the southeast. In fact, we did see some stronger storms at the end of last week in parts of North Carolina. So this is kind of where we are. And the point of me showing you this is just to let you know we are definitely in a summertime type weather pattern. So let's discuss this. Animating in the upper left-hand corner first, you're looking at the next 3 days, 3.5 days as forecast by the NAM model in terms of what's going on in precipitation. The dominant feature, if you kind of see it here sitting off of the coast, is this big area of higher atmospheric pressure. You see the whole southeast is going to be destabilized over the next few days. There's plenty of moisture wrapping around that high pressure center sitting off the coast there. And what that means is we got chances in North and South Carolina for showers and thunderstorms most days. This is certainly going to be what I call a summer-like pattern though, which means we're going to have to watch for these very subtle boundaries. Think of them like fronts moving across the state, possibly giving rise to some thunderstorms. But when we put it all together, what we're really seeing is this. Here we're seeing that really right along the North Carolina-Virginia border, we do have this little front that's going to be sneaking through Monday into Tuesday. Could get some focused thunderstorms in that area. But outside of that, it's just the circulation around this high that gives us the possibility to work with that Gulf moisture to make some showers and storms. So this will definitely be hit or miss over the next few days, but you will have a chance of thunderstorms in your forecast through the first 4 days of this week. Now, if we just look at all of this week put together, I'm going to show you two different models here. On the left, I have the 21-member ensemble from the GFS. That's a US model. On the right, I have the 51-member ensemble from the ECMWF. What we like to look for here are similarities. What it looks like is that because of the hit or miss nature of the storms to start off the week, we're near average on precipitation to begin this week. We are certainly warm, and that's because the overall flow pattern favors a pretty broad ridge across much of the United States with a little cutoff trough here sitting in the southwest. But because of that, you can see that we're going to favor a warmer than average temperature bias. That's forecast both by the GFS, which is the US model, and by the longer range European model over here on the right. But what I'm getting concerned about is this big tropical pulse that's coming up here, again out of the Caribbean, going to go across parts of Florida. That's going to be the thing we're going to have to be looking out for in the week 2. So let's stretch this out. What we're looking at now is the next 15 days all put together in one forecast. So what we are seeing here is that because of that pulse of moisture coming in right out of the Gulf of Mexico and right out of the Caribbean, we are again favoring a very wet next 15. That's why I'm suggesting over the next 15 days that drought in the southeast will all but be eliminated. So this is important. I know when we're talking about planting peanuts and cotton, we're in the thick of it here. So this could spell some planting delays. But the good part about this is going to be a good rain on an early crop, keeping our soil moisture up. Now, because of this big pulse of moisture coming in out of the tropics, and no, this is not a hurricane, this is not a tropical storm, this is just a bunch of moisture, a bunch of what we call precipitable water moving out of the tropics, getting into the southeast. We will be seeing that over the next 15 days will favor slightly cooler than average temperatures. Now, remember, this is mostly coming in next weekend through next week. That means this week it'll be warm, but next weekend, because of the cloud cover, because of the precipitation, we'll see some cooler than average temperatures. And that's echoed pretty well in both model runs here. So this is the thing we got to be on the lookout for here. And in each one of my videos, I like to stretch things out and take a look at the longer term. So let me introduce you here to a long-range forecast by the European model called the ECMWF. It is one of the most prolific and well-used models on Earth, and it is also a very, very good one. Now, right now, when we look out to June, July, and August, a very critical time period for ag in the Carolinas here, because there's drought in the Central Plains, and because of some longer-term trends in the flow of the jet stream, what we're expecting here is a broader ridge to be setting up out west. Now, if that ridge sets up just as I've drawn it here, that tends to keep a lot of the heat out in the Central Plains and out west. It looks as though we're going to have a very active southwestern monsoon under that ridge, so a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity in this area. What I'll be watching for this summer is any time that ridge migrates to the east. That could be crucial because if it does, that brings a lot more heat to the Central Plains. What is interesting, though, is that right now most of our long-range models are not picking up on a major temperature bias for the southeast. While they are calling for a warmer than average summer here through parts of the Carolinas, we're not right now seeing one of those summers where we are really, really hot. So that's a key feature to pick up on. One thing I'll be watching all summer will be the position of the Bermuda High. Should the Bermuda High slide to the east like you see here, we could pick up on a wetter pattern this summer as well, which is what's going on right now, at least as suggested by the long-range European model. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that. In terms of tropics, I'll give you a tropical update here once we get into the beginning of June, but we'll certainly be on the lookout for any tropical system with each one of my weekly updates. But we'll get that longer range forecast for the tropics coming out in one of my upcoming videos. But with that, I think we got a good picture of what the next couple of weeks looks like, and we also have here a good picture, I think, of what to be expecting for June, July, and August. And with that, I'll go ahead and wrap up this forecast video. We hope you look forward to our next ag forecast coming out Monday morning. And until then, keep a very close eye on that thunderstorm activity. Talk to you again next weekend. Thank you.